Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. That picture above is the farm fresh eggs that was brought to me by my neighbor next door. She keeps chickens. Pretty cool. They're good eggs too. All right. So we have a lot to cover again today, so let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off this morning with Mike Tyndall. Apparently, he's promoting a trip on a GBR cruise in the south of France. And so to help promote this, he stripped down to his, you call them budgie smugglers, I call it a Speedo, along with some friends to help promote this. So two people, Mike Tyndall and his friend James, had on the revealing swimwear, and his other friend Alex dressed up like a sailor. And they're advertising their coming stint on a GBR cruise ship where they are bringing, are you ready? 4,000 rugby fans to create the ultimate quote-unquote fan zone out at sea. I think that's pretty cool. Now, we know that Mr. Tyndall even launched his own range of Speedos, and it is to help for the aid in the cure for Parkinson's. There you go. I love that man. Mike Tyndall was also seen in Monaco at the F1 Grand Prix with his lovely wife. Way to go, guys. All right, moving on. Next up, Princess Eugenie, you know, she's due to drop a new baby any day now, moved back into Ivy Cottage they're claiming from Frogmore, but I don't think that's correct. But Ivy Cottage is very close to the Royal Lodge where Andrew and Sarah are living, and it's also very close apparently to Portland Hospital. So so they'll be close to when she gives birth. All right, moving on. Next up, thank you to Couture and Royals on Twitter for this. The Prince and Princess of Wales, Catherine and William, had their monograms changed. Over their initials, you now have the coronet of the heir apparent. There you go. Yep. All right, moving on. Next up, Prince William was being praised by the survivors of the Grenfell fire because he is so passionate about the community as the 6th anniversary of the fire took place. He has attended every memorial every year. He has not forgotten about them, which I think is so important. 72 people were killed and 70 more were injured. Notice that Harry and Meghan made no statement of any kind to mark the anniversary of this horrible fire, and Meghan wrote a foreword in a cookbook. That's all she did, and now she's telling everybody it's her cookbook. Moving on. Next up, I'm just going to touch on this. They're saying that Catherine has done the most work for bringing awareness to the importance of early childhood years in 420 years. Go Catherine. Moving on. Next up, a quick update. Remember I told you that the Heritage Group is trying. They filed a lawsuit to get the information about Prince Harry's visa application. Well, there's been some suggestion online that he didn't even fill one out. Now, interestingly enough, a bid to fast-track the release of his application using the Freedom of Information Act was blocked. The grounds were exceptional public's interest. And this has been branded absolutely quote-unquote outrageous by senior officials at the Heritage Foundation. And now there's going to be another hearing next month. Niall Gardner, who directs that group, the Heritage Foundation, said, quote, Biden administration is stonewalling and they're trying to avoid releasing any documents. And they're doing this to undermine the credibility of the British press, which is outrageous. And by concentrating their fire on the British press, even though we have submitted articles in the US press about the same subject. Now, this is getting more interesting because when you apply for a visa, it's only good for 3 years. So Harry is going to have to reapply for a new visa or citizenship or a green card this year, is what they're saying. And they said the application for the new visa is going to lead to further scrutiny because of his admitted drug use. U.S. immigration law is very harsh. Anybody else who would have admitted to this would not have been allowed in. I'll keep you updated. All right. This next story said that Prince Harry is no longer living in the house. I don't know if that's true. It could be that he's living in the guest house. We do know he keeps a hotel on tap in case he needs it. You have to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. And then this story came out saying that Harry wants to try to meet Thomas Markle. Now, people are saying it's because he wants to make amends. No, I don't think that's the case at all. I think if he wants to meet Thomas Markle, it's to find out how many lies Meghan told him now that he's sort of come to his senses. Well, Thomas Markle Jr. put out a tweet, a TikTok video. And what he said was that Neil Sean put out a video saying that, Harry and Meghan are on the rocks, that their marriage is in trouble. And he said, well, I called that out quite some time ago. And yes, Thomas, you did. And he says, I told you, Prince Harry, I told you that it was coming. You should have listened to me. Everybody knew this was going to be the end result. And he said, anyway, the video pointed out that Harry wants to, quote, make amends and come meet my dad. So Thomas Markle is saying, let me tell you right now that if this has anything to do with Netflix crews or Netflix cameras, don't even bother. My dad has had enough crap from the bogus PR stunts to last him for the rest of his life. But he said, if you truly want to meet him, get in touch with me and we can talk before you meet Dad. I think that's what's going on. I think Harry wants to find out the truth. People are out now saying that the only reason Harry is staying at this point is because of the kids. Well, there you go. He's trapped. He's trapped because if he tries to divorce her, she's going to take the kids. She's going to take everything because he's already admitted to severe psychological problems and drug abuse. Oh, she set him up good. But like I said, he's a sucker. So with Harry being left behind, and here's another Neil Sean video. He's claiming that new agency that signed Meghan only signed Meghan, not Harry. And we know that the podcast is all Meghan, not Harry. And apparently she is separating herself from him to get the stardom that she always wanted. So she used him as a stepping stone, right? We also know that Harry lost his bid. His attorney tried to add 3 more witness statements to his case, and the judge said, no. So far, his case is in the toilet, really. And if he loses, he's going to lose up to $20 million that he's going to have to, pay out. So all in all, his life is really going down the drain. So here you go. The articles are coming out now saying Harry has woken up to the truth. Okay, so he's going to check with Thomas Markle. He's going to find out how much Meghan lied to him. But in the end, he's already spoken to divorce attorneys, but in the end, he's stuck. Sucker. I love what Evans Einstein wrote, because when Diana and Charles's marriage started to go down the tubes, they did try to shake off the press, and they tried to put on a brave face in public, just like Harry and Meghan. So in that way, maybe they are alike. All right, moving on. And now you have articles like this. Meghan is the discredited face of an entitled woke, movement. Well, she is. Nobody's entitled to anything. You earn what you want. And they're saying now that Harry is too dense to realize that the British people really loved him. You know what that's a testament to? That is a testament to the PR team at the palace who covered up for him. And everybody in the UK just thought he was just the nicest guy. But come to find out, he was really an ass. But, whatever. Now, with everything going on, you would think they would stop their PR campaign against the family. But no, look at these headlines. Charles ignores Camilla on royal engagements. Body language says Kate is furiously throwing massive, nasty looks at William. Kate performs warm gesture, but William avoids looking. King Charles should step up and defend Harry, written by Jack Royston, Sugar #1. Kate Middleton ignored by young black girl during tour. How about this one? Kate Middleton slept with Prince Andrew one time. In the meantime, they're putting up stuff like this in Meghan's favor. With the Duke and the mother at her side, she can do anything. She has a royal family member on her side who looks happy. Look how wonderful Meghan looked in her gold dress. We know what's going on, guys. And you guys should know that during the last few days, Harry and Meghan have really kept a very low profile. I think that is her PR team trying to undo the damage she did. They're telling them to stay out of the limelight. All right, moving on. Even this one, 3 major studios, including Netflix, are desperate to turn The Spare into a movie. And this came from a key production source, probably somebody at Archwell. All right, let's move on to our main story. And we're going to talk now about Harry and Meghan supporting the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States and in Britain. We all know that Meghan's been talking about racism, and I'm going to speak out, and we have to talk about this. Black Lives Matter movement. She has put her stamp of approval on it. She's put her name on it. She says it's a personal thing. And then has they backed up and said anything else about it? No, they haven't. Why do you guys think that is? Let's take a closer look at what's going on now with the Black Lives Matter movement, because as usual, as soon as Meghan and Harry put their name to something, it turns to crap, right? Here we go. So here's what happened. Only 33% of the Black Lives Movement's $90 million in donations went to charitable foundations. That's right. The money has been mismanaged. Gosh, imagine that. Now, the founder of Black Lives Movement, or the co-founder, here's a picture of her. Her name is Patrisse Cullors. She's been in Los Angeles working on her art and on the multi-platform deals she signed with Warner Brothers to produce Black stories. Now, what you're looking at above are her brothers, who have been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for, quote, security services for Black Lives Matter. The problem is her brothers have no history of security, and the security company is registered out of a UPS store. Yeah. Now, he recently purchased a 3-bedroom home for $637,000. The security company, which is Color Security, was paid $840,000. Now, some of the money went out. The person you're looking at above is Samaria Rice. Her son, Tamir, was shot and killed by a white police officer while he was playing with a toy gun in 2014. She got $400,000 from Black Lives Matter for her foundation. She's been critical of the way it's being run, by the way. Now, the other people that you're looking at right now are activist Cepheus Johnson, and his charity got $1.2 million for his nephew Oscar, who was killed by a white transit police officer in California in 2019. This young lady you're looking at is activist Nala Simone Torsiant. She has a charity called Reuniting African Descendants, and she got $200,000. You should know, by the way, that she is a cosmetologist and her LLC company was dissolved last month. Now, this gentleman above is Michael Brown, and he was killed in 2013 by a white police officer, and that's what fueled the Black Lives Matter movement. And his foundation was set up by a lady named Janice Jones, who is a spokesman for Mr. Brown's father. And this is Mr. Brown's mother, who also set up a foundation, and she received $89,000. There is a group called the Government Integrity Project, and they filed a complaint against Black Lives Movement for the way the money is being spent. The picture above shows Patrisse Cullors and 2 other people at a $6 million mansion that Black Lives Matter bought in Los Angeles. You should also know that Black Lives Movement paid almost $1 million to a company that's run by the father of Cullen's child in 2021. Now, the next picture you're about to look at is a Topanga Canyon property in Los Angeles that Miss Cullen bought for $1.4 million. Apparently, she's lining her pockets and lining her family's pockets, but isn't really doing anything with Black Lives Matter. Oh, and one more thing. $1.1 million went to a Dayton, Ohio company that's run by the sister of one of its former board members, the sister of Raymond Howard. This woman, Miss Collins, has purchased 4 mansions in Georgia and California. Yep. Now, remember I told you earlier she signed a deal to, do original stories for Black TV. Well, after 2 years, she's produced nothing. So Warner Brothers canceled the contract. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't get money. Remember, they give them a couple of million every year to produce content that like Netflix did for Harry and Meghan. Now, she claimed in 2022 that she was working on a documentary how reparations were similar to the idea of land back. And she had a scripted series about marijuana and Black women leaders now the Hollywood Reporter is the one who reported that. So she said, well, Black voices, I'm quoting, Black voices, and we've been historically marginalized. We're important and integral to today's storytelling and blah, blah, blah. But she didn't produce anything. Nothing. Instead, she said, I've been relentlessly attacked by the media, so much lies, so much misinformation. Everybody's bent on destroying my life. Even though I've not been at Black Lives Matter since 2021, my face continues to be used to spread untruth, and I'm exhausted, and so many people have stayed silent. I'm not sure how she can say that since it's already been proven that she's been funneling money to her family and she has bought 4 properties. Yeah, so they did force her to resign since she was using the funds for her personal use and keeping everything in the family. So Harry and Meghan have not spoken out or said one word about all of this. And this took place after Meghan put her name to it. But as usual, this took place, remember back when they were jumping on any bandwagon possible? Remember that? George Floyd? Not a peep from them about the mismanagement of the money. Now, for those of you who don't recognize this guy, his name is Mizzy. He's been running around England, terrorizing people. He stole an elderly woman's dog. He walked into somebody's home. Good thing he didn't do that in the United States. He would have been shot, and that would have been the end of it. But apparently, he has a sidekick. And the sidekick it turns out, is the son of a BLM activist. And he was Britain's youngest CEO at the age of 8 before he hooked up with this guy, Mizzy. He set up some sort of a marble business on the internet when he was 8. Now, the son of, if you can imagine this, Christina Jordan, who's one of the founders of the Black Lives Movement. She was appointed to that post in January of 2021, and she says that she is a, quote, social entrepreneur and social justice advocate. She's well known for community work, helping to establish children's playgrounds and other projects, and yet her son is running around with this guy, Mizzy, terrorizing people in England. Yep. Now, interestingly enough, she's slamming the police, but when the Mail Online went to her home, she said, quote, I haven't seen him for days. I don't know what he's up to, and I don't know what's going on with him, and I don't expect him back anytime soon. So there you go. She doesn't even know what her own kid is doing, but she's slamming on the police. So, of course, they're all saying he was a really good kid until he got in with this kid, Mizzy, and got into social media, and he was just so wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. The kid now is in a lot of trouble. I have to say that I love what this person put up on Twitter. This was a global extortion racket that preyed on all of the moral intuitions, leveraging Black outrage and collective white guilt. It used a slogan, too noble to deny, fueled racial animosity under the guise of racial justice, and lined the pockets of Marxists while leaving the social fabric more ruined than it was before. Yep. Anybody else here see a pattern of behavior? You know, it makes me ill. It really does, because we all know what Harry and Meghan did. Again, with this Twitter user. This is a biracial woman who identified as white, but uses and exploits black children for her gain. Look at the faces of the people behind her there. Yeah, look at her face here when she didn't realize she was being taped. Yep. Here's the picture that she and Harry took in front of their housing unit. Remember? White people in the front, black people in the back. And for those of you who think that everybody looks so happy, let's zoom in on some of these faces. These people standing behind them do not look happy in the least. All right, now I asked you guys for some suggestions. You know how I love giving shout outs to new channels. We're going to start with this one, Ibble Dibble. I went and looked. It's fabulous. I love her platform. I think this channel is going to be big. Go tune in and watch. Morning, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick update. You know, I told you that YouTube is purging my channel. So the other day, you guys wanted me to keep you up on the numbers. The other day, I had 57,760 some odd subscribers. I was getting ready to flip over into the 8s. This morning, I am 2 people away. Make that 1 person away from being back at 57,600 something. They've removed over 100 people from my channel. This is what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Put those comments down and make them good. Make them really good. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to double check if you've already hit the button to make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go into the description box. You'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, and a physical address in case there's something you want to send me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.